So today I woke up and decided to go golfing with some friends, and I'm having a great day. I'm not looking at Twitter. I've already had my YouTube video set to upload. Everything's going great. I get back from my round of golf and the whole Call of Duty community is being burned to the ground, and it's absolutely insane. Honestly, today we got some of the biggest freaking news Call of Duty has ever had. And you would think that this news would be about Modern Warfare 4. You think that this news would be the final announcement of the game, but no, it goes beyond that. If you didn't already know, 2020 Call of Duty has already been confirmed as Black Ops 5. Treyarch is making the game, and Sledgehammer has gotten fired. The entire company is no longer making the Call of Duty game in 2020. This is literally, I think, the biggest Call of Duty news we've ever got, so of course, we have to talk about it. So first of all, this is already affecting us. You may not know this, but this news is already affecting us. Over the past couple of months, we've been asking the question, why the hell has there been such a lack of content in Call of Duty Black Ops 4? There is less DLC weapons than we've ever seen before. There is less new maps. There is less new content. So what the hell is going on behind the scenes? There's got to be something weird going on over at Treyarch. And as it turns out, there is something massive going on at Treyarch, and that would be the next Call of Duty game they are making, Black Ops 5. So how do we really know what's going on here? So earlier today, a Kotaku article came out written by Jason Schreier, who is a guy who has put out many Call of Duty articles before and has been right about every single thing he has put out. So this is really legit, like as legit as it gets. And his article is called Sources, Call of Duty 2020 in Upheaval as Treyarch takes over, plans Black Ops 5. So essentially what this article is, the very brief overview if you don't want to watch the entire video, is Sledgehammer and Raven were the two people supposed to be working on Call of Duty 2020, and something big happened between them, which we're going to talk about, and it was so big that Activision actually had to cut their project altogether and said, you know what, we'll just give it to Treyarch. Treyarch will make the game for Call of Duty 2020. Now, this is obviously a big deal because they're expecting a 3-year development cycle for their next Call of Duty game that has to be cut down to 2 years because now Activision is asking them to make their next game in 2020. And that means that all of the development that they were planning on putting to Black Ops 4 this year has now been pushed to their next Call of Duty game. So to answer the question, why is there a lack of content? It is because they are no longer focused on Black Ops 4. Now, there are a lot of other really key points as far as what happened to Sledgehammer Games, as far as Modern Warfare 4 possibly being free to play. This article is filled with information, so I'm going to go through the whole thing with you guys so you really understand what's going on and so you can really understand how big of a deal this really is for the future of Call of Duty. Because I am not over-exaggerating when I say this might be the thing that kills Call of Duty. So essentially what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through paragraph by paragraph and give it as a summary to you guys. I'm not going to read the thing word for word. I'm just going to give you the basic breakdown of what exactly is going on in each paragraph, because honestly, each paragraph in this is extremely important. So first of all, this first paragraph is explaining that the next year's Call of Duty 2020, is supposed to be developed by Raven and Sledgehammer Games. It will no longer be developed by then, and they are giving it to Treyarch to create a Black Ops game for 2020. Up next, paragraph 2. So paragraph 2 goes on to explain that for Call of Duty 2020, Activision decided to give the reins to Raven Software instead of Sledgehammer Games. If you didn't already know, Sledgehammer Games developed Call of Duty World War II and Raven Software worked in the background. They decided to flip this. Now, they also go on to explain that this Call of Duty game, Call of Duty 2020, was set to be a Cold War, likely involving Vietnam-style Call of Duty game. As of very recently, that's changed. Now Treyarch is in charge of Call of Duty 2020, likely Black Ops 5. Now, this brings up several interesting options for the next game, Call of Duty 2020. This could be a Black Ops 5 game to take place in the future after the events of Black Ops 4 and Black Ops 3. This could be a Cold War style game. Basically, they'll take the game from Sledgehammer and start developing this Cold War Vietnam game that won't even be titled Black Ops 5, or they create Black Ops 5 that is going to take place during the Cold War. These are all very viable options for this game. As it turns out, this is actually explained in paragraph 3. So paragraph 3 goes on to explain that Treyarch is going to be the lead for Call of Duty 2020, but Raven and Sledgehammer will work in the background alongside Treyarch. What they are going to be doing is transforming the work that they've done on their own single-player story mode into a campaign for Black Ops 5. So basically tying the Cold War into Black Ops 5. They also say that this will likely be a cross-gen game that's going to appear on PS4, Xbox One, and the future PS5 and whatever Xbox has planned. Now shit really starts to hit the fan in the next paragraph, as the next paragraph starts to explain the problems that are currently going on with Black Ops 4. So this goes on to explain that Treyarch is actually kind of pissed about this because instead of having 3 years to develop the next game, they only have 2. And the exact thing that they say is that the Treyarch employees are already bracing for a brutal overtime hours like they faced last year on Black Ops 4. Kotaku also explains that they are going to have future articles explaining the problems that Treyarch had during the development of Black Ops 4. So it sounds like we might actually get some behind the scenes as to what the hell is going on with Black Ops 4 and why there's a lack of content and what happened with the development of the game, which is incredibly interesting to me. Now this next paragraph is huge because this next paragraph mentions Modern Warfare 4 possibly being free to play. So basically this next paragraph explains that Black Ops 4 originally sold really well. However, over the longevity of the game, the microtransactions haven't been doing as well. Are we really surprised by this? No, not at all. However, it goes on to explain that Activision is actually considering the free-to-play component to their game. Whether this is the whole Modern Warfare 4 or Call of Duty 2019, probably not, but they are saying a component of the game might actually be free-to-play. They are also saying that some of Activision's higher-ups are a little bit resistant to this, but it appears as though, for the most part, they are going in that direction. So, Call of Duty 2019 may be free to play. Call of Duty 2020 looking even more likely for that one. So the question is, why is Call of Duty 2020 going to be developed by Treyarch and not Sledgehammer, not Raven? The answer is because of the flip-flop, because Activision decided to put Raven in charge, the two studios could not get along. They couldn't agree on anything, and because of this, Activision decided to just give the product to Treyarch. This, in my opinion, is a huge mistake. So why do I say this? It's relatively simple. You may remember back in 2012, Activision announced that they were switching to a 3-year development cycle split between Infinity Ward, Treyarch, and Sledgehammer games. The reasoning for this is because a good Call of Duty game could not be produced in 2 years, so they were giving their developers a 3-year cycle to make better Call of Duty games. Can Treyarch make a good Call of Duty game in 2 years? Yes, absolutely. With the help of Sledgehammer and Raven behind them, they can do so. But it is not going to be as good as the 3-year Call of Duties we have been used to. Modern Warfare 4 should not be affected by this, or Call of Duty 2019, whatever it's going to be, should not be affected by this. However, Call of Duty 2020, Black Ops 5, whatever it's going to be, isn't going to be the best Call of Duty it possibly could because of that. Also, in my opinion, the real game being affected by this isn't Black Ops 5. It isn't Call of Duty 2020. It's actually Black Ops 4, and I'm going to have a whole other video talking about this later on this week. However, this is impossible for Treyarch because they're expected to currently be updating Black Ops 4, making new content for that with the same amount of people they had working for them. However, they have also just been told that they need to make a game coming out in 2 years, a whole nother Black Ops game or a Cold War game. Now, they don't only have to be working on Black Ops 4 and that content, also Black Ops 5. So, up until today, I have been mad at Treyarch for squandering the opportunity that they have had with Black Ops 4, because, in my opinion, the game plays really well, it just hasn't been updated properly. Now I know why they haven't been updating it properly, and I'm not gonna lie, I feel kind of bad for them. Now, as I edit this video and as I look at what I say here, I don't think I really got across how big of a deal this news we are talking about actually is. This news could either make or break Call of Duty going forward. Looking back into the past, when Call of Duty was in a 2-studio development cycle with Infinity Ward and Treyarch, that is when Call of Duty was in its prime. So this could be a good thing for Call of Duty, especially with more studios working on Treyarch's game. That could make it better. It is possible. But if I was to be ruler of the world, what I would want out of this is for each studio to have 2 years. So in other words, the next game would come out next year. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 or whatever it was would come out in 2019. Treyarch's game would not come out until 2021. That is what I would like to see. It would give each studio 4 years to work on a game, and there would be more studios working on it. Is that going to happen? No, absolutely not. I'm not insane, but you never know. But the only other one wish that I have for what we've seen today is that it's not Black Ops 5. I really don't want a Black Ops 5 in 2 years. It's not what I want. I think Black Ops story probably should have ended with Black Ops 3. I think people are relatively sick of specialist characters. So if you're doing a Cold War game, embrace that. If you want to put Frank Woods or you want to put Alex Mason back into the Cold War, do it. But don't make it a Black Ops 5. Maybe that's just me. You can let me know what you think down in the comments. But I tried to summarize this video as much as possible, get the information across to you the best way possible. So if you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit that like button. If you're new to the channel and like what you see, I'd love it if you could hit that subscribe button. Also turn notifications on if you want to stay up to date on all my videos. But guys, you are now up to date. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I hope you enjoyed the video. And until next time, guys, peace out.
Listen.